All right, happy Chanukah, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. And I'd like to start off Chanukah with a little Devar Torah. So I want to talk about the miracle of Chanukah. There's really two miracles. There's the miracle of the war, that the weak beat the strong, and the tinier, the minuscule, beat the numerous. There's many different ways, many different advantages that the Yavanim, the Greeks, had over the Jews in winning this war. And then there's the miracle of the oil, that there was one flask of oil that should have lasted only one night and lasted 8 nights. And there are a number of questions you can ask on these two miracles. And I actually just ran to a rabbi tonight. I think his name's Rabbi Kornfeld, not the rabbi of the Gra, but a different rabbi with the same name. And he asked these questions, and if I may be so honest, these are questions I've been wondering about for a while. And I'd like to put them all together. Question number 1, is there a connection between the two miracles? Is there a connection between the miracle of winning the war and the miracle of the oil lasting, a little bit of oil lasting for 8 days? Question number 2 is, why specifically it was their miracle in the terms of the oil, in light in general, and the oil in particular? Why this miracle? If you're going to do a miracle, you have, presumably, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God has many options. But he specifically chose light. He specifically chose a little bit of light which lasted longer than we expected. And in particular, in this flask of oil, which we'll have to get to and understand better. Those are our first 2 questions. We're about to go and add at least a third, maybe a fourth also. When we get into the story, in the details of the story, a few more questions pop out. For starters, what happened? The Yavanim, the Greeks, come into the Beis HaMikdash, into the Heichal, into the Holy Temple, and they make all the oil impure. They matame, call all the shemen. This is a halachic status. This is a legal status. There's nothing physically different about the oil, but there's certain laws about whether or not oil has a status, a state which is called tahor, which we translate in English as pure, or a state which we call tameh, which in English we translate as impure. But pure and impure, they don't have the right connotation. We might think of like bacteria or something that's going to make you sick, and this is a spiritual impurity. That somehow or another there's something spiritually or emotionally or psychologically off with this oil. What does that mean? We'll try to get to that in a little bit. Sounds a little bit off right now. We'll try to make it sound a little bit on in a minute. So they come in and they change the halachic status of the oil. They don't take it, they don't break it, they don't pour it out. They leave it as it is. You want to use the oil? Great. You want to light the menorah? Great. But the oil has to be tameh. Why? What's their issue? Now, this question, by the way, it's interesting, is a question that I've wondered about and I've thought about for many years, many Chanukkahs, and it happens to be that right now before Mincha, I ran into a rabbi here. I believe his name is Rabbi Kornfeld, not the rabbi of the Gra, but another rabbi, a wonderful man by the same name. And he asked the same question, and I think it's a good question. So why are they matame it? What's the issue? Let's take it another step further. The Hashmonaim, overcome the Yavanim. They're able to take back the Beis HaMikdash. They come in and they see that all the shemen is tameh. Now, what are they supposed to do now? Halachically speaking, you're not supposed to light the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash with shemen that is tameh, that's in the state of impurity, which means that somebody has to become tameh. There's different halachas about that, but the source, the ultimate source, has to do with you touched a dead body, or there's other ways to become tameh. That's one major way, and you had some sort of contact with the shemen itself. So you're not supposed to use that shemen as the source of the light in the menorah. But there's a halacha, and I'm not sure if we paskin this way, if there's a machlokas about it, but this is not my question. I've seen this raised in the past. In this situation, you would be allowed to use it, because there's another halacha of tuma hutra b'tzibur. if you're in general you're not allowed to use shemen that's tamei, but if it's for the tzibur, for the general public, and there's no other option, so you can do it. If the choice is between lighting the menorah with shemen tamei or not lighting it all, so you should light the menorah with shemen tamei. I believe that is the halakha. At least this question has been raised, and it's not one that I came up with. So let's take that as correct right now, that you could use this shemen if you wanted to. You could use this oil, even though it's tamei, because of the circumstances. In general, don't. In general, use pure tahor oil. Right now, you have no choice. You're allowed to. So great. So they didn't accomplish anything right now. Use the shemen that's tamei, and then make new shemen. And in 8 days, you have shemen that's tahor, and you're fine. But they didn't like that. It says batku umatsu. They were bodek. They sought out shemen tahor. They didn't want to rely on this halacha. There's something that it seems that there's something that bothered them about this. They're in sync with the Yavanim. The Yavanim are specifically making the shemen tamei. They're specifically looking for shemen that's tahor. There's some battle going on here between Tuma and Tara. The Greeks get it, and the Jews get it, and they understand what's going on. We still don't get it. We're going to try to get it in a little bit, but we don't know what's the big deal. Why is there this battle? Why do the Greeks care? Why do the Jews care so much? You can do it. You're allowed to do it, halachically speaking. So okay, they thought they were putting a fast one on you. Jokes on them. They weren't. No. They batku. They searched. No, this is not a joke. There's not the jokes on them. They want specifically tahor shemen, and so they do bedika. And now we have an idea of what a bedika is from other areas in halacha. For example, from Pesach. In Pesach, on Passover, the night before Passover, we do a bedikas chametz. We seek out in our home chametz. So what does that mean? We want to make sure that there's no chametz left anywhere. And so we'll search everywhere, even in the nooks and crannies, in the holes and the cracks in the house. Back then, I think holes were probably a bit bigger and used maybe as storage. They didn't necessarily have the closets and all the amenities that we have, the cabinets. But be that as it may, you're searching everywhere that chametz might be, because you really want to find it if it's there. You're doing a serious search. That's what they did. They searched everywhere. They wanted to make sure that there was no shemen tahor anywhere. Or, the way that I mentioned it, they understood it couldn't be that a Kodesh Baruch would let them make every bit of shemen tamei. There has to be something tahor left. And they understood that this battle, this war, ultimately speaking, was somehow the battle between Tuma and Tara, which is, again, we still don't understand. But we're starting to see that that's what's going on here. And that's why they're searching it out, because they have this emunah, I'm imagining, that there's got to be some shemen tahor left somewhere. It couldn't be that after everything we've gone through, after all the war, after all the miracles, the miracle of the victory, the war, that it would get to this point that we're going to be forced to light the menorah with shemen tamei. That's somehow or another, this war is about getting to light the menorah with shemen tahor. That's what it's about, and therefore it has to be that something's left over. So they search, and they find. Batku v'matsu. And I would like to say that this is actually the first miracle of Chanukah. The miracle that they don't give up hope, that even though it seems that there seems no chance, they still keep going. And the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the Yavanim didn't get everything, they missed something. And the miracle that they actually found it. That this is one big miracle combined. So anyway, they find tahor shemen. And on that tahor shemen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does a miracle. We see it's all about tahor, tum and tara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you're going to have enough tahor shemen to last you until you can make some more. I'll arrange it. I'll arrange the teva. The winds will blow or won't blow in a certain way, or however he manipulates teva, or does it beyond teva, nyala teva. Whatever he does, I'm going to make sure this shemen tahor lasts 8 days. Because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu also understands this is a battle about tuma and tara. And if we go one step further, It's a battle about Tumen Torah as relates to light. This is the festival of lights, right? Which light? The light of the menorah, the light that's shining out from the Beis Hamikdash, which houses the Torah. We have in the Kodesh Kedoshim, we have the Aron HaKodesh. Inside the Aron HaKodesh, we have the Luchos, the Ten Commandments, the Luchos that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Sefer Torah, which he also gave to Moshe Rabbeinu to give to all Am Yisrael. And this, the menorah is the taking of that wisdom, that insight, that derech, that way of life, all that's in the Torah, and shining it out to the world. And the Greeks have no problem with that. They just have a problem with lighting it, shining it with this idea of Tara. It doesn't sound like they have a problem per se with the Torah, but rather with this aspect of the Torah, or this way of revealing or teaching the Torah. Have all the light you want, but don't give me Tumen Tara. So we've got to understand, what's this Tumen Tara? Kadosh Baruch Hu gets it. He says, yes, you're going to shine the menorah with Tahor Shemen. The source of light has to be Tahor. That's the point. Particularly the source of light of the Torah has to be Tahor. The Greeks said, no, it doesn't. It could be either way. We're going to be Tameh, not because we're saying it has to be Tameh, but because we're saying there's no such thing. Don't give me this Tumen Tara business. I mean, or maybe they're really into Tumah, but I think it's more the latter. That don't give me this Tumen Tara business. There's no such thing. There's no this. There's no that. There's no Tumah. There's no Tara. There's just light. It doesn't matter what the source of it is. And the Jews say it matters. So what's going on here? I'd like to give a mashal for Tumen Tara, not to say that this is Tumen Tara, but for a way to look at it. And they can have to put it all together, and then we'll connect this to the war. We've already slightly connected it, but we'll fully connect it. I'll start with a personal story. Growing up, every year we would visit my grandparents in Boston, Aleim Shalom, for I think 2 weeks. I think they'd come to us for 2 weeks. We'd go to them for 2 weeks. We lived in Chicago. They lived in Boston, they're about 1,000 miles away. We'd see them for about a month out of the year. And every time we came there, or every time they came to us, there were 3 boxes of cookies. I mean, there might be multiple boxes, but there were 3 types of cookies. One type was the chocolate chip cookies. Those were the favorites of my father and my brother. The other is what's called cream cookies. Those were my favorite. And the third was what she called half moons, what we call black and whites, which everyone loved. And she would, this was a labor of love. She knew that we liked this. She knew that it gave us pleasure and joy. And so she made them for us. And she came up, she made the recipe that we liked. She wanted it to taste good, but she wanted each of us to get the joy that we wanted. Not because she got she got the pleasure of giving love and seeing the joy that she gave us, but she wasn't getting any fame for it. She wasn't getting any money for it. She wasn't no power, nothing. It was, I love you, I care about you, and I want to give to each one that relates to you. I want to give to each of you. And this is one of the ways that she could do it. Now let's take a different cookie. Let's take either a local bakery or a corporation, a large company. Let's say they also make cookies. They might make the same cookies, cream cookies, chocolate chip cookies, black and whites, whatever it is. And they also want them to taste good. They want them to taste good, not because they love us. They probably don't even know us. I mean, they might take pride in their cookies. They might have some pride in the fact that people enjoy them. But it's a business. Either they need to make a livelihood, as in a local bakery, or they want to, make money, and maybe they want to make a lot of money, like a company or corporation. And so they are making them taste good for financial benefit. And this is neither here nor there. That's fine. I want the cookie, you want the money. Let's make a deal. It's perfectly fine. I know what I'm getting into, you know what you're getting into. Now let's take a third type of food. It might be a cookie, but I think, potato chips or other things probably are more relevant, but let's make it a cookie now. Let's say that the company does something else. that they don't just make the cookie taste good, but they make it in such a way that when you're eating it or done eating it, you want to eat more. They figure out the psychology of human beings and how taste works for them, and how they're not just psychology but also their biology, and they figure out, how can I make this cookie so that when people eat it, they're going to want another one and another one and another one, because they want to make even more money. They don't want to just make money by making something that I want. They want to manipulate my physiology, I guess, to have me eat as more cookies than I would have otherwise, so they can get more money. So let's take a step back with this little mushal, this example, and put it all together. Where's the light in this story? The light is the knowledge, the wisdom of how to make the food, right? It could be a cookie, it could be anything. But here, do I have a recipe that works? Do I know what my customers like? Right? My grandma would say, I know my customers. But we're paying for it? No, we're not paying for it. She'd give it to us for free. She's working at it. But she knows what each of us likes. And she wants to go and figure out what we enjoy. There's certain wisdom there, insight. A bakery or company that makes regular cookies might also want to do the same thing. What do my customers like? Let me make 2 different types of chocolate chip cookies and see which one sells better. I'll do a little testing. Let me do that again. Let me keep improving the recipe so I can go and sell more cookies. I'm not manipulating anybody. I'm not manipulating their physiology. They want something to taste good. They want a nice dessert. I want to go and sell as many as I can so I can make more money. That's a fine and fair exchange. But that also takes insight. Then there's the third one. Let me figure out how the biology works, how the taste buds work, how the psychology works. Let me figure out, how the hunger, how the human being works, so I can go and get them to want to eat, not just taste as good as possible. They might taste worst, but they want to go and eat as many, more and more and more. Let me figure that out. I think I heard once that in some soft drinks, they'll add salt and then cover it up with sugar. The salt makes you thirstier, but the sugar covers it up, tastes good, and now you want to drink even more. You'll be thirstier after you drink the drink. It won't quench your thirst, it'll create more thirst. That's also a knowledge. That's a different type of knowledge. That's taking advantage of, that's leading to do something that they don't want to do. That wasn't necessarily part of the original bargain, and it's for your benefit, not theirs, solely for your benefit. And it can actually be harmful. Tahara, I would like to say, in this story, is the love of my grandmother for us. It comes from a place of caring, a place of connection, a place of holiness, of these different desires and ways of relating and connection and relationships that are positive, that are worthwhile. The tuma in this example is the manipulation, the wanting knowledge, wanting information, so for my benefit, even if it's at the expense of the other person. I don't care about that. I'm just self-focused. It's my desires, my needs, my wants, my power, my control. And the middle case is neither tumor nor tara. It's neither here nor there. It's just a simple exchange. So in Chanukah, what the Jews are saying, what the Torah is saying, is that it matters at times, where you're coming from, what your goals are, what your desires are, what your intentions are. It will affect how you relate to yourself and to other people, what you do. We have today a whole industry of food that, I'm not saying the entire industry, but within there, that manipulates food for the bottom line to the health detriment of the society. It's a problem. It's a real problem. Is that tuma per se? I don't know if that's halachic tuma per se. Tuma, relates to death and other things. It's a negative thing. It's a disconnection from a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But Torah is life. It's caring. It's principles. It's values. It's chesed. It's tzedakah. It's taking care of other people. It's wanting to connect to things that are eternal and valuable. It's wanting to build families and communities. It's these more wholesome, healthier, content, sustaining values and attitudes. And so the source of the light matters. Where I'm coming from matters and will affect everything. The Yavanim, the Greeks, didn't get that. Why did it bother them so much? I don't know. My sense is that they were just totally blind to this distinction. And in their worldview, it doesn't matter one way or the other. Everybody can go and figure everything out. You just need the right method, and you have your reason, and then and it's accessible to everybody, universal. And the Jews are saying, there's something personal that you have to invest in it. It's not just a blind method, disconnected from the human being. It's not just something that a computer can do. Although we're getting computers that are pretty advanced in some of their thinking, but there's certain things that a computer cannot bring to the table unless it's programmed into them by the programmers. And that's that. It's a second level derivative, whatever. Don't worry about if you don't understand what I mean that. But the point is that the ultimate source has to still have that tumantara. I'm sure you can build AI to be very manipulative if one wanted to be, and that's very worrisome. So anyway, getting back to the war, what is Chanukah about? What is this miracle about? What is the Kodesh Baruch Hu saying? There was a war, a battle over a worldview of the human element in knowledge, and the human element in insight and wisdom. There's much more on that topic that is to be involved, and the Torah is pointing out that who you are, who the observer is, if we're going to kind of borrow a little bit, I guess, from quantum physics, perhaps not in the most accurate way, but as a concept, that who the observer is affects how they see, and what they're looking for. And the Jews understood that, and the Yavanim were trying to extinguish that perspective, that light. And so eventually a clash came. And the Yavanim, and the Jews and the Yavanim fought, and they had a massive battle. And the Jews miraculously overcame them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helped the Jews because this worldview has to survive. He can't let it be extinguished, because then the hope for mankind is extinguished. The hope for the Jewish people in particular, mankind in general, and including the Greeks. And so he does a miracle. But the Yavanim, so they're still sitting there at the upper hand. Oh, you can have your military victory, but I'm going to get the Tumantara victory. You're still going to have to light this menorah without any connection to Tara. It's going to be Tameh. So I'm going to win even in my loss. I lose the battle, I win the war. Yes, you get control of the base of Mikdash, but I have control of Tumantara. Says the Yudim, it can't be. This whole war is about Tara. It's what the idea of Tara is. There's got to be oil. And so they search and they find, but they don't find enough. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, no, I'm with you in the battle on Tara. If you connect yourself to Tara, if you find a little bit, I will extend it. It'll go beyond what you can imagine. It'll go enough until you can go and find a way to create some more Tara. And so that is, I would like to argue, one of the major facets of the holiday of Chanukah, of the Nes of Chanukah. And if I could just tie it into, I guess, this past year. In this past year, we've had a lot of Tum out there, also a lot of Tara. A lot of people coming from very ugly places, saying very ugly things and doing horrible things, because of where they're coming from. Either their worldview or their emotional state, their psychological state, some combination, their spiritual state, and they've made the worst accusations possible. They've befriended Hamas and Iran and the worst people in the world. You see people taking down posters of hostages, including little babies. Right? This is horrible, horrible stuff. They have a whole worldview, but it's all coming from an ugly, Tumidic place. And then you've had Jews and non-Jews alike stand up to them and support Am Yisrael and come and recognize that this is a battle for light, for love, for caring, for the idea that you can't just come in and butcher people, that there's no place for the lies and the propaganda and the manipulations, and that we're not going to be intimidated, we're not going to be shamed into going in, or coward into allowing Tumah to survive. We will fight back, even if at times it seems like we're outnumbered. Even if there's many forces in many places, in the media, in academia, in the UN, even in different political, different governments around the world, but we won't give up, and I think we've seen a lot of victory because we have connected ourselves to those deeper truths and values. And I wish us a lot of continued success with that, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should, keep all the hostages safe and keep them the strength they need to carry on until we, as Hashem, we can see them free. He should protect all the soldiers who are fighting, protect their lives and protect their bodies. He should give refuah shlema to all those who are injured, and he should protect all the Jews all around the world and all their friends, and we should only see light in the year and years to come. All the best. Chanukah Sameach.